Actually, let's move it to a different location. Um, let's set up right here, my peoples, my family, my friends, my San Miguel TVers. I want to talk about this IUIC thing with Bishop Nathaniel and a Hebrew Israelite cult called Israel United in Christ, IUIC for the acronym, right? IUIC started by a man named Bishop Nathaniel. His rank is bishop. His name is Nathaniel, who used to be part of ISUPK, Israeli School of Universal Practical Knowledge at 1 West 125th Street back in the 90s. Everybody knows this information if you know about the Black Hebrew Israelite community. The IUIC seems to be one of the bigger groups right now. They have been moving in to different locations, different parts of the world, and different countries on the continent of Africa. And I've seen them go on TV stations in Nigeria and things like that. But here they are now. They tried to do street speaking now in Kenya, right? Now, when it comes to street speaking, what you need to know if you're not familiar with Hebrew Israelites, street speaking to a Hebrew Israelite is considered like warfare. That's considered like you have now, that's why women can't do this, because they don't let the sisters go out and hand out flyers or do street speaking, because they consider that like war territory. You know, that's like battle. You're going to battle with demons face to face, and at any time you could get paws put on you, hands put on you, you know, because of the way that you're talking. They know that they're talking reckless. Hebrew Israelites know that they talk reckless, and they have a whole procedure set up for when their camp gets attacked. You know, it's these security measures that need to be taken whenever something like that happens, you know, like what happened in Kenya. Let's get all the messages so I can see everything. Inquisitor Bacon, what demons is what he says on the chat. So yeah, the IUIC pretty much got tear gassed and got bottles of urine, even bottles of urine thrown at them, they said. They got stoned, they got rocks thrown at them, tear gassed, and bottles of urine got thrown at these brothers that were out in Kenya that are part of a Hebrew Israelite cult called the IUIC, Israel United in Christ. Now, what this exposes is the fake oppression and the fake racism that they claim is happening in America. I've never seen IUIC go out to camp and get treated like this by police in America. I haven't even seen them get treated like this by white people. I'm sure there's been situations where there was some drunk or reckless person at a camp that said something, some white man, and these Hebrew Israelites thought it was the end of the world. But then this happens right here, and it actually shows you how bad it can be when you go to other countries and you don't have the same privilege that you have in America when you go to Kenya. And all this shit does is expose the fake racism that these cats are constantly pushing, that they're going through. They're constantly saying, yo, we don't got no love from nowhere, even our own people. Yeah, even your own Hebrew Israelites, you got IUIC sat out there and fought one day in the streets. I forgot the name of the group. What was the ISUPK? They got into a fist fight. I mean, it wasn't really much punching going on. It was more pulling and pushing and, you know, throwing body weight around, you know, trying to, man, bump bellies. Hebrew Israelites just bumping bellies. Come on. But no hands got thrown. It was no hands getting thrown. It was no hands. It's just people just bumping bellies, you know, talking shit, talking hot air. And here they go to Africa, Kenya. You're amongst your own people now. You're among your skin folk and your kin folk. Or maybe not your kin folk, but they are your skin folk. But these people that are supposed to be your black brothers that you're going out there to preach to, what are you going to say? Well, that's because those were Hamites. Those are your people, man. Those are your people. You were going out there to preach to them, and what happened? What happened? Everybody knows what happened. This happened over a week ago. Nathaniel spoke about it. He's the one that said that they had urine thrown on them and all of that. You know. Hey, greetings. Greetings from America, Florida. Bulgaria in the house. Welcome. It is because of the freedom they can preach racism, yet all BHI camps think they're in captivity. Yeah, if you're in captivity, then how come this shit don't happen to you? You actually got it worse in Kenya. See, they don't fuck around over there. All your human rights and all this bullshit that you have, all this protection that you have, where you can yell at police officers and tell them that they're gonna go to hell and tell them that they're gonna fucking be your slave in the future. All that freedom that you have, Nathaniel, take notes. All that freedom that you have, you didn't realize how much freedom you have in this country? But no, America's Babylon the Great and blah, blah, blah. And this goes against your whole entire doctrine that says that you are being oppressed in this country. Because nothing like that has ever happened in America to any Hebrew Israelites unless they started off something first. And I've seen that happen in Times Square where Hebrew Israelites want to fight somebody and then the cops come and arrest somebody. But they don't do that. Show me where Hebrew Israelites ever got tear gassed for protesting. The ICGJC, Tazadakia, and all these idiots that's part of the Hebrew Israelite community, the black Hebrew Israelite community from 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, that preaches black nationalism. They went to a country in Africa, Kenya, one of the blackest countries you ever find in the world, and got tear gassed and got the hell. They got ran out of Kenya. I don't know if they were in, I forgot the part of Kenya, Nairobi? I forget. Nah, I forget the name of there's a few places out there in Kenya where they're mostly Christian out there. Then there's some Muslims. I believe they're mostly Christian out there. There's images, there's statues that artists have drawn up and carved up out of wood that you could find Hebrew Israelites use, but this actually was created in like 1998 by an African, and he carved up a black Jesus Christ. A black Jesus Christ. They're Christian. They don't believe in no Hebrew Israelite stuff. They don't believe in none of this damn racism and nationalism, as far as I know. Now, I don't know too much about Kenya and how they operate in these different provinces or whatever the hell they got going on. I know that there's some places in Kenya that people still live out in the wild. There's one of the main what's that river out there that dries up? It's known for having like some of the most beautiful and diverse type of wildlife in Africa. When that river actually starts flowing, it draws a lot of antelopes and gators, and you got all types of animals from all over the place. So it's not as developed. Like the whole country is not as developed as America is, of course. So there's still some things that, some things that need to be regulated. I'm sure cops get away with a lot more in Kenya than they could get away with in America. Because if that would have went down in this country, in America, I'm sure cops would have probably got their badges taken away. They would have made a big deal out of this. People would have came, like IUIC would have gathered together and by the thousands. They would have got their entire army in full force, and they would have came out to whatever city that happened at, whatever location, and they would have protested and shut down the streets the next day. But because they're in Kenya, it's not so easy to get everybody over there. So I don't know. It looks like they had about 8 brothers trying to preach the truth, which is what they do out here in every city, almost every city, every state in America for sure. They're preaching what they call the truth, which is hate against everybody in the world. Unless you're black, Hispanic, or Native American, then you're chosen and you're aight. You can slide. But these cats in Kenya are not playing the games that you playing with the American government, where you want to use this victimhood of the history of slavery, and then you can get a lawyer to represent you, and a lawyer will lie to you and make you think that you got a chance just because he wants to make his name known. And he'll take you to the fullest extent to a loss. He'll walk you down to trial in front of a judge, knowing that you're going to lose, just so he could get some recognition. And he'll make you think that, no, you're right. They did it because you're black. Almost every body cam video I watch of a black person getting arrested, I'm talking about maybe 80%. So the majority of the videos I watch when it's a black person getting arrested, body cam videos that I watch on YouTube that you could get, you can actually request these body cam videos from your local police departments, depending on what state or what county and you live in, that have different rules. Florida's pretty easy about letting out public information like that. So you could request all types of stuff. You have so many rights and privileges in this country. But now you go to Kenya, you Hebrew Israelites that don't know what the hell's going on. You think that you're in a racist, that everybody's against you here, and you're chilling. That shit never happened to you. There ain't no cops ever try to throw tear gas at no Hebrew Israelite group like they did out there in Kenya to the IUIC. And that's a fucking wake-up call, man, and you guys don't see it. But you're still crying racism in this country, and we can't do that. The thing is that they expect, these Hebrew Israelites expect to be treated like they own the world, like they're royalty, like they're God's gift to humanity. And when they don't get treated like that, then they think it's racism because they expect a certain treatment and they're not getting it. So they think this is narcissism. This is narcissism 101. Because you ain't getting treated like a melanated king, you think that you could behave and act, you disrespectful as hell. Disrespectful as hell out here on the microphone when you're a guest in these people's country. You are a fucking guest. You better respect people. This should be a lesson for all you Hebrew Israelites that think that you could go to another country. Yo, you lucky that you weren't in fucking Nigeria, man, where the SARS police will fucking chop your head off, nigga. You lucky that shit didn't happen in Nigeria. Let the police in Nigeria get their hands on these people that's telling them that these are nothing but filthy Hamites. And that you're better than these people. God's chosen people are among you somewhere. But y'all look exactly alike. But we won't know who it is, who's the chosen, until you come in and accept our teachings. Somebody accepting the teachings of the IUIC equates to God chose this person to be there. And we don't know. They could look white. They could look East Indian. They could look like a native, Australian, indigenous New Zealander. They could look like that, and because they accept the word that's coming from Nathaniel's mouth, it becomes doctrine, and now that person's chosen by God because they accept Nathaniel's doctrine. You got to realize what these people are trying to reel you in with, man. This is craziness, man. But, give this video a like, a thumbs up. I'm only going to be on here for a few more minutes. I want to make videos like this real quick, lives, during the day, to get people that are not always available for my lives at night when I usually go live. Make sure you subscribe and leave a comment on the video if you got something to say or whatever. But this is what I think about the IUIC, Israel United in Christ, the Hebrew Israelite cult group that started out in New York City in the early 2000s. After Nathaniel, the leader of the IUIC, broke off from the House of David, which is a group that actually broke off from the Israeli School of Universal Practical Knowledge. And decades later, you got a neo-ISUPK group that's out here preaching to be the only ones and the right ones, the chosen ones. The ones that the Lord is dealing with and using to bring back his nation and his people back here on this side of Babylon in America, which they claim is Babylon the Great. Babylon the Great. Listen, the people that call themselves oppressed today, that call themselves a Judite, an Ephraimite, a Levite, or a Simeonite, and you have no way of proving these things, because the only people that's calling themselves these things is like blacks and Hispanics. I don't think even Jewish people dare to call themselves Judites. and Ephraimites, you know, but sometimes they do. Sometimes these different European groups will say, yeah, we're from the tribe of Manasseh. This European Hebrew Israelism that's out there. But you got these black Hebrew Israelites here in America that are sometimes not even black. Sometimes they're as white as me or even whiter. They claim to be black Hebrew Israelites. And they might get away with it because you got a black American that's patting them on the back and telling them, listen, man, you just like us, man. You down with us. Look how you play basketball, yo. You got our spirit, yo, yeah. And it'd be a white person that literally falls for this shit. I fell for it myself. But, you know, years later, decades later, man, a decade later, I'm awake. And this shit is clearer than ever that what these people preach is nothing but victimhood. And this is a way of them gaining followers. Is they go to a member or a potential member, right, which they call a fruit. And they start preaching to this fruit and they tell them, don't you hate America? Isn't America so evil? Yeah, we hate America too. Why don't you join us? You see, because the Lord hates America. The Lord's going to destroy America. And you got to realize that you are a chosen man of God. You're from the tribe of Judah. Are you born in America? You're a black American? Yeah, you're a tribe of Judah. That's what they tell these guys. Then they tell them, the Lord is going to come and destroy America, but he's going to protect you. And he's going to destroy America because he's angry at all the evil that has been done for so long. It's been so long that black Hebrew Israelites are getting all this evil done to them. Yo, they went out to Kenya and they got it 10 times worse than they ever got it in America. IUIC. Nathaniel, stop lying to these people out here and giving them false fear, this fake fear of living in a country that actually is moved on from all this racist stuff. That the time that you're living in, you weren't even born during the time when some of this racist, real racist stuff was going on in this country. And even then, it wasn't as bad as what you see, some of the stuff you see going on in other countries where it's the wild, wild west out here. You think that you're going to be a guest in my house and come and tell me what I need to do in order that I've been worshiping a false God? You're going to come in my house, in my country, and tell me I've been worshiping a false God, man. And I'm going to die and go to hell, and I might be a Hamite. That's just crazy. Let me read some of these comments. IUIC is treated better in America than Kenya, but they'll still try to rationalize in their minds and continue to preach racist doctrines. The reason the doctrine is attractive is because it gives people a sense of pride and empowerment. Yeah, it really does, you know, because they know that they can get away with it at this point in America. They know that the average white person is non-confrontational, not racist, and sometimes they might be on your side and they'll feel bad for what their ancestors did and take on some guilt, which they have no reason to do so. But they might take on some guilt because of what their ancestors maybe did. Because there's no proof that, you know, some of these people have ancestors that just came here in the 1920s. There'll be a Greek family. Like, I grew up with a bunch of people that their parents migrated from Greece, right, in Queens. And so they came to America in the 80s from Greece. But then black people would tell this dude, like, you because of what your ancestors did to my people, you gonna die. This is what black Hebrew Israelites will say. And then some woke black people too will get on the same shit. And it's like not realizing this motherfucker's family migrated here and moved here in the 80s, 1980s. What you talking about? They didn't do shit to your ancestors. Oh yeah, but my ancestors were in Greece, and the real Hebrew Israelites were the Grecians and the Hellenist Jews, and they're gonna go into all that crazy shit. And that's when you shut them down. Tell them, stop right there. We're gonna continue this later. All right, I gotta go, y'all. Peace out. Thanks for listening. We'll continue this another time. One.